I stretched my resume for a junior design job, then my boss made me lead a full rebrand in 48 hours. When I graduated, I needed a job fast, but I had zero real graphic design experience. Rent was due in 2 weeks, my savings were gone, and I'd already been rejected 37 times. Then I saw a listing that looked perfect. Junior designer at a small marketing agency. It said 2+ years Adobe Creative Suite. I had none. My roommate Alex said, just apply. Everybody stretches the truth, so I didn't just stretch it. I rewrote my resume, made up a tiny freelance business, and used my roommates as fake clients with fake quotes. I built a portfolio in one night with tutorials, coffee, and panic. For 2 days, I watched YouTube at 2x speed, pausing only to copy what they did and hope it looked believable. By the morning of the interview, I felt sick. The creative director, Sophia, walked in with tattoo sleeves and calm confidence, like she could smell fear. She clicked through my portfolio in silence. My hands shook so bad I nearly dropped my laptop. She stopped on a logo I made at 3 a.m. and asked, "Why did you choose this style?" My brain stalled. Then I repeated the tutorial's words, modern and clean, but still friendly. She nodded like it made sense. "It's rough," she said, "but you've got something." 3 days later, they offered me the job. I said yes, then went home and stared at my ceiling, thinking I'm going to get caught. My plan was simple: learn everything before anyone noticed. I got in early, stayed late, and watched tutorials in secret. In meetings, I nodded like I understood and wrote down every new word to look up later. Every time Sophia walked toward my desk, my heart jumped. In week 2, she leaned over my screen and said, "Send me the working file." My face went hot. I didn't even know how to organize layers properly. I said, "Sure, just cleaning up the names." Then I rushed to fix the mess before she saw it. That night, I ruined a file, saved over it, and had to rebuild it from scratch at 1 a.m. I kept thinking, one more mistake and I'm done. 3 weeks in, the lead designer quit after a loud fight with the CEO. The next morning, Sophia dropped a folder on my desk. "Biggest client," she said. "Local credit union, full rebrand. They've rejected 2 directions already." She looked me straight in the eyes and added, "I like your instincts. You've got 48 hours. My throat went dry. I almost quit on the spot. I even typed an email that started with, "I'm sorry," then deleted it and opened a blank artboard instead. I pulled 2 all-nighters. No sleep, just sketches, screens, and energy drinks. My screen kept flashing errors I didn't understand, and I kept going. I studied other credit union sites until they all blurred together. I printed their old logo and stared at it under the harsh office light, circling what felt wrong. I crumpled idea after idea and filled the trash with failures. At 4 a.m., I clicked the wrong thing and stretched a whole layout by accident. The spacing suddenly looked better. I froze, then rebuilt the whole concept around that mistake. By sunrise, my eyes burned and my hands were jittery. I made 3 concept directions and wrote short pitches for each one, stuffed with words like community and trust that I'd heard on podcasts. When I hit send, it felt like stepping off a cliff. Sophia called me into her office that afternoon. She shut the door, stared at the designs, and stayed quiet for a long beat. I was already planning how to survive unemployment again. Then she said, "This is exactly what they wanted." I blinked like I didn't hear her. She turned her screen toward me. The client's email was one line in all caps. "We love it." Sophia laughed and said, "How did you nail them?" I mumbled something about listening to their members and keeping it warm without looking old, and somehow that sounded smart. 2 days later, the CEO passed me in the hall and said, "Great save," like I'd been doing this forever. After that, work got a little easier. I still felt scared, but now I could actually do things without a tutorial running. I stopped Googling basic terms every hour. I started catching my own mistakes before anyone else did. Months later, we entered a local design award, and my campaign concept won. Sophia said, "I almost didn't hire you. Your portfolio was rough, but you looked hungry and teachable." My stomach dropped because my fake story was sitting right there between us. I almost confessed, but the words wouldn't come out. She just smiled and said, "You grew fast." Not long after that, Sophia told the team she was leaving to start her own firm. The office went silent. Later, the CEO called me into the same office where I'd expected to get fired. Sophia was already there. She said, "I told them you should lead." The CEO slid a paper across the desk and said, "Creative director. If you want it, sign." My pen hovered for 1 second, then I signed my name. Now my coworkers are calling me a liar for my resume. Was I wrong?